everyone, you're welcome to this edition of The Inside. I am Bablet Jonathan. In this edition of The Inside, we are analyzing key issues concerning the forthcoming presidential election in the Republic of Cameroon after the pre-election petition hearings at the Constitutional Council. There are now 12 in the race, 12 candidates running the race, the October 12 presidential race in the Republic of Cameroon, and there has been a general outcry over the what is considered as violation of human rights, violation of the law, violation of civil and political rights, notably in connection to the rejection of some candidacies, and that which attracts massive attention and provokes a wave of tension across the country is that of Professor Maurice Kamto, submitted by the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Manidem political party. And we are bringing to you different perspectives of these issues. We are bringing to you divergent and convergent views, analysis, and opinions about these issues concerning the forthcoming presidential election in Cameroon. Stick around with us. Professor Maurice Kamto, candidate or presidential aspirant of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Manidem political party, rejected by the elections organizing body, Elections Cameroon, and a decision upheld by the Constitutional Council, spoke to Cameroonians after his candidacy was definitely, finally rejected. And he says that the decision is illegal, unlawful, unfair, unjust, unacceptable. Now, let's take a listen to what is said about this issue.
On 26 July 2025, the Electoral Council of Elecam rejected my candidacy for the presidential election, which had been duly submitted by Manidem. On 28 July, I lodged an appeal against this unfounded decision with the Constitutional Council. On 4th August, we presented this High Court with all the factual and legal arguments in favor of validating my candidacy, as well as the evidence establishing the imposture of the second candidacy attributed to Manidem. On 5th August, at the end of its deliberations, the Constitutional Council rejected my appeal for validation of my candidacy on the grounds that it was unfounded. The decision to exclude me from the 2025 presidential election was taken a long time ago by the CPDM regime. This regime never accepted the fact that we avoided the big political trap of the 2020 legislative and municipal elections by choosing the boycott. The regime wanted to destroy the CRM through these elections and never forgave us for escaping. From then on, the campaign to demonize the CRM and its national president was launched, and the decision was taken to prevent him by any means possible from taking part in the 2025 presidential election. It was with this in mind that the legislative and municipal elections scheduled for February 2025 were postponed until March 2026 in order to prevent the CRM from having any elected representatives and from being able to present its candidates in the presidential election next October. When it was discovered that the CRM had elected municipal representatives, the CPDM regime organized fake debates for several months on the nullity of the imperative mandate in order to show, in spite of this, that the CRM would not be able to present a candidate under its banner, and that if it tried to do so, it would be rejected and the authorities would ensure that there would be no protest whatsoever. What's more, we were told that the only option open to us was to have my candidacy put forward by one of the 18 political parties that has won seats in 2020 elections. I must repeat that nothing prevented the CRM from presenting a candidate for this presidential election. But We had to avoid giving the regime a pretext for rejecting a candidacy presented by the CRM, because rejecting the nullity of the imperative mandate had become a matter of life or death for this regime. The unexpected presentation of my candidacy under the Manidem banner came as a thinly veiled shock to those in power in Yaoundé. Taken by surprise, the regime in power rushed to create a new president of Manidem and his candidacy file to artificially create what was called a plurality of investiture. Cameroonians, my dear compatriots, I would like to extend my warmest thanks to the many people who have tirelessly shown me their patriotic and democratic support during this episode, which has just been resolved before the Constitutional Council on Tuesday, 5th August 2025. I would particularly like to thank the Honorable Jean-Michel Ninche, National Chairman of the FCC and the Coordinator of the Political Alliance for Change, as well as the members of the Political Alliance for Change who decided to support my candidacy. In the same vein, I would like to thank the National President of Manidem, Mr. Anise George Ekane, for his remarkable patriotism and sense of history, his loyalty to the ideals on which his political commitment was founded, his courage and determination to see our country resume its nationalist march towards progress. This is also an opportunity for me to salute the exceptional commitment of all the leaders and activists of Manidem for their support for my candidacy. I would like to express my gratitude to the leaders and many militants of the CRM for their unfailing support, their unwavering commitment, and their remarkable courage in the face of the many trials imposed on them on a daily basis by a regime that has no inspiration and no vision for the country.
And despite the rejection of his candidacy for the October 12th presidential election, Professor Maurice Kamto says the struggle is not over. The struggle for change in Cameroon is not over. The struggle to deliver Cameroonians from the yoke of poverty, misery, hardship, violation of their rights, violation of civil and political rights in the country, the struggle for a better Cameroon, the struggle for the well-being of the nation and her people has not ended. He declared his determination to continue fighting for Cameroonians. Take this.
I've told you again and again, I will not betray you. And I have not betrayed you. On the other hand, the Constitutional Council, the judiciary, ELECAM, the powers that be, through the Ministry of Territorial Administration in particular, which has been involved in all the wrong moves against us, have betrayed you without a second thought. The international community, notably the UN, which signed a secret agreement with ELECAM on 9th May 2025, supposedly to guarantee the transparency of the 2025 presidential election, has betrayed you. This international community, so quick to stand by the dictatorship that is crushing the Cameroonian people, did not feel concerned by the CPDM regime's political crime against our people. On the contrary, it has sat on the values it claims to promote and defend. My dear compatriots, as part of the preparations for my campaign for the presidential election next October, on 30 January 2025, I launched the fundraising campaign in accordance with the legislation in vigor. Following the rejection of my candidacy, I would like to inform the public that contributions to my campaign for the forthcoming elections are now closed. Despite the expenses already incurred in connection with this campaign, I hereby inform you that the contributions received in the bank accounts open for this purpose and in the various accounts with mobile operators will be reimbursed. Practical measures are being taken to this regard. Cameroonians, my dear compatriot, I'm on my feet and will remain at your side. The struggle continues. Long live Cameroon.
And in our quest to bring to you a more holistic understanding, a more holistic perspective of issues concerning the rejection of the candidacy of Professor Maurice Kamto, we compiled a series of stories for you, bringing to you a broader perspective of the whole issue, bringing to you reactions from within Cameroon and from outside of Cameroon. Special stories now.
In a dramatic twist at Cameroon's Constitutional Council, lawyers for Maurice Kamto exposed a major fraud involving the Ministry of Territorial Administration. The ministry had attempted to disqualify Kamto's candidacy by claiming that Anise Ikane is no longer president of the Manidem party and replacing his name on the ministry's website with that of Yebga, a regime-backed figure.
Quelle est la personne qui reçoit les subventions? Est-ce que c'est José Yebga?
It should be recalled, on July 21, 2025, the official website of the Ministry of Territorial Administration still listed Anise Ikane as president of Manidem. However, during the night of July 21st to 22nd, 2025, the Ministry of Territorial Administration's website became unavailable. When it reappeared on July 23rd, surprise on the page dedicated to political parties, Anise Ikane's name had been deleted and replaced with that of Dieudonné Yebga. The Ministry of Territorial Administration claims that their website had been hacked with the malicious intent of inserting a name that has neither legal basis nor a legitimate place, an outing that sparked reactions in the political landscape. A surprising fact, however, is that until 2025, the Ministry of Territorial Administration itself and ELECAM continued to recognize Anise Ikane in official correspondence as party president. It means that if the Ministry of Territorial Administration knew that since 2021, Anise Ikane was no longer the president of the Manidem party, in this case, it means that there is embezzlement somewhere.
Cette aide, n'est-ce pas, au parti, je vais dire au parti public, au parti politique, ça veut dire qu'il y a détournement de fonds quelque part.
It means that you are aware that someone is not qualified to collect the public last funds, but you give it to him.
Vous avez continué à les lui reverser.
A blatant contradiction. No notification was sent to ELECAM and no official document was made public before Kamto's application was submitted.
Among the reactions from political figures and artists is that of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement (CRM). The party regrets the verdict of the Constitutional Council, which rejected the candidacy of Professor Maurice Kamto, viewing it as a neglect of the democratic process. Furthermore, the CRM reiterates its mission to see the country prosper, stating that nothing will deviate the party from its vision. It calls on activists, supporters and all Cameroonians to remain calm, restrained and serene while voting through the ballot box. In addition to the CRM's response, Parfait Vung, the national president of the Republican Forum, comments on the troubling state of justice in Cameroon. He highlights a scenario where a minister falsified official documents and presented them before the country's highest court without facing consequences. In contrast, a citizen who admitted to hacking the ministry's official website with the minister's approval faced the same court while others applauded. Consequently, Parfait Vung believes the world now has confirmation that fake ministerial documents exist in Cameroon, yet no one is held accountable. Also, legal expert Barrister Liz Combe shares her thoughts on her Facebook page, stating, "When the force of law becomes the law of force, justice itself can only become injustice." In another perspective, Christian Timban Bomo, executive president of the Heritage Party, extends his support to Professor Maurice Kamto. He asserts that without Kamto, there would be no opposition in Cameroon. He contends that the regime is frightened by this key opposition figure and is now using mafia-like tactics to eliminate his candidacy. Therefore, Christian Timban urges Professor Maurice Kamto to remain determined. Finally, carrying the voice of artists, Kares Fotso states, "Today, it is not only Professor Maurice Kamto's candidacy supported by Manidem that has been rejected, it is the truth that has been humiliated." She condemns those who see the lies but choose to remain silent, encouraging Cameroonians not to be afraid when fighting for their rights.
In a statement released 2 days after the verdict of the Constitutional Council, Human Rights Watch noted that the exclusion of Maurice Kamto, a key opposition leader from the race to Itodi, undermines the rights of Cameroonians to participate in free and fair elections. The group called on authorities in Cameroon to allow Maurice Kamto to run and stop their crackdown on opposition, releasing those arrested for political reasons. The rights group also highlighted the arbitrary nature of the Electoral Commission's decision, which claimed that Kamto's party, the Manidem, had sponsored a second candidate. Manidem's president, Anise Kane, had denied these claims, and Kamto's legal team has accused the government of attempting to shut down opposition. Human Rights Watch also urged Cameroonian authorities to respect the rights of citizens to participate in free and fair elections, saying that the exclusion of Maurice Kamto and the crackdown on his supporters laid the foundation for unfair elections. The group called for the immediate release of all those arrested for political reasons, saying that their detention is a clear attempt to intimidate and silence the opposition. The upcoming presidential election in Cameroon are seen as a crucial test of Cameroon's democratic credentials, and Human Rights Watch's statement highlights the need for the government of Cameroon to ensure that the electoral process is free, fair, and inclusive.
We are taking a short break, and it is time for us to go to the newsstands. We want to look at what the newspapers reported this week on the issue. The press review now. Cameroon Insider, October 12 presidential election, Constitutional Council ends suspense, endorses 12. The paper reports that after 2 days of heated hearings on pre-election petitions, the Constitutional Council delivered verdicts rejecting appeals from several candidates who wanted to have their candidacy files for the October 12 presidential election reinstated. Some of the landmark decisions by the 11-member body include the rejection of the petition of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Manidem, over double investiture, and the disqualification of Ile Make Zipang, whose candidacy file had earlier been validated by Elections Cameroon. In the same vein, the Horizon exclaims, petitions for rejection/reinstatement, Constitutional Council Mars kicks out Manidem's Kamto. Zipang's MP, UNDP, denounces unjustified exclusion of Kamto. And the Horizon reports the definite exclusion of Kamto from the presidential race. The Guardian posted its readers that there were fireworks at the Constitutional Council over Kamto's candidacy. According to another issue of the Guardian Post, an alliance bringing together political leaders Bello Buba Maigari, Professor Maurice Kamto, and Issa Chiruma Bakari is in gestation, and Cameroon Tribune reports efforts by Muslim dignitaries to ensure peace before, during, and after the October 12 presidential election. You're welcome back. We are bringing to you now another side of the coin, a perspective of the whole issue close to the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM regime in power for more than 4 decades now. And we bring into you this perspective in order to balance the narratives about the happenings around the forthcoming presidential election in Cameroon. We talk to Professor Elvis NGOLE. He's a political scientist, coordinator of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM Academy, and former government minister. Take a listen. Your understanding of what has transpired from elections Cameroon, with the publication of the list of 13 candidates, and later on the petitions filed at the level of the Constitutional Council, and then the hearings, and then now we have 12 candidates who are running. What's your reading of all of that?
The Republic of Cameroon functions according to its constitution and according to its laws. And according to the constitution and according to the laws, whenever the moment arrives, as we have it now, that presidential elections have been announced, and they have been announced according to the Constitution, the head of state, in the name of the state of Cameroon, as President of the Republic of Cameroon, has the constitutional power. The Constitution gives him the power to convene the electorate and to announce the date of the election. He did that, and he has set the date for October 12th. And according to the Constitution and the Electoral Code, elections is a moment in the life of a nation or in the life of a country when the people, in their freedom, have to choose who they will elect as their president. And as a process, it begins by having the citizens register on voter registers. After registering on the voter registers, once the president issues the decree convening the electorate, the voter registers are closed immediately or automatically. And once the voter registers are closed, as they were closed when the president announced it, the people now know that whoever is in the voter register will be the ones to be eligible to vote, meaning will be the electorate. Now, once the electorate has been convened, as the president has convened it, it opens the doors for all the 30 million of us to express our intention or our desire or our ambition to be a candidate for the office of president. And this is what happened a few weeks ago. 83 Cameroonians out of the 30 million of us decided that they have the ambition and the interest or the intention to run for the office of president in the October 12th elections.
There have been a lot of complaints about what is considered by many as unfair, unjust, unlawful, rejection of some candidacies, violation of the law, non-respect of even the electoral law that we're talking about for some of the candidates who are saying that they fulfilled every condition. But Elections Cameroon disqualified them. The Constitutional Council upheld the decision of Elections Cameroon. The case that attracts a lot of attention is the case of Professor Maurice Kamto. What's your reading of this outcry of injustice?
The law regulates everybody. And so the 13 candidacy files that Elecam validated, and they validated it in all Republican legal objectivity, they respected the law by transmitting these 13 candidacy files to the Constitutional Council. And the Constitutional Council, as per the Constitution and the electoral law, had a certain number of days, I think 10 days, to also examine these files, cross-examine the candidates, and all those who petitioned. And among the petitions, that there were a total of 35 petitions from the 13 candidacy files that Elecam sent, came 35 petitions. And these 35 petitions were examined, and there was cross-examination carried out by the Constitutional Council according to the Constitution and according to the electoral law. And don't forget that the 11 men and women who comprise the Constitutional Council are men and women of integrity, men and women of substance, men and women who have a CV which is very, very highly appreciated, and men and women who are intellectually very qualified. Everyone knows them. They did their job. I was present. It's not that I heard. I was present, and I did not lose 1 minute. I was there. I followed file by file, examination by case, and I tell you something. These two institutions, ELECAM and the Constitutional Council, but at least in the case of the Constitutional Council, I was present. I was a live witness, and I can tell you that I was very keen. And I can tell you, the Constitutional Council proved that they were a strong institution, that they were an objective institution, and that they were an institution that had only one concern: the integrity, the unity, the good of the Republic of Cameroon.
How do you foresee the voting process? Do you fear there could be some unrest, there could be some instability with regards to the tension in the political landscape, with regards to the anger being expressed here and there?
I don't fear, because I believe that as a citizen of the Republic, the electoral law and the Constitution do not make room for violence or for conflict. Law, by its own definition, is supposed to prevent and to ensure that there is no conflict, and that in case there is conflict, the mechanisms are in place to ensure that that conflict is managed and is resolved. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's normal that in every or in any electoral process, you have anxieties, you have tensions, you have misunderstandings even, and there are all kinds of troublemakers, or all kinds of people moving up and down. It's very normal. But we are in a republic of laws, or what I refer to as a constitutional republic. And as such, there is no room for anyone, either because they are frustrated, or because they are angry, or because they didn't agree with ELECAM as an institution, or the Constitutional Council as an institution of the Republic. They have no right to break the law in terms of the spirit and letter of the law by engaging in any action that can cause or amount to violence or a conflict. There's no reason, because the law doesn't provide for that. Therefore,
does that justify the use of military force to crush dissent, to crush people who are expressing their anger and so on? We saw the militarization of the towns of Yaoundé and Douala. And so.
The security and defense forces are a permanent part of the state. There's no state without a permanent security and defense. It's a constitutional reality, first of all. It's a legal reality, and it's even a reality which is legitimate. There is no time, no minute, no second in the life of a republic, in the life of a state, in the life of a country, a nation, where the military will be absent, or the security and defense forces. Nowhere, no minute, even when you are asleep. When
Prof.
They are always present, not will. They are always present. You may not see them, but they are always there.
To ensure the security of the territory and the people.
It's a permanent constitutional and legal reality and condition of republicanism, or of organized society, or civilization, or of nationhood. It is always there. So when you see them, some people get alarmed and begin to wonder, why do we see them? Why are they there? But look, they are there 24 hours upon 24, and their role is to ensure that the life of the citizens, no matter who they may be, are secure, to ensure that the property is secure, and to ensure that the integrity and the territorial integrity of the republic, of the state, of the nation is secure. The security and defense forces are not anti-citizen.
That seems to be the case in Cameroon. Many people perceive the military as repressive in all its actions. Now, right, you've been on the ground for some time now, campaigning. I mean, not campaigning because campaign has not started proper. Doing some preparation on the ground. We've seen you in Kupe, Maniguba, in your area in the southwest region of the country, talking to the people, militants of the CPDM, officials of the CPDM, elite of the party in that part of the country. And we've also seen your comrades crisscrossing the country doing the same work, and you are fighting to maintain your president, the president of your party, the national president of your party, who is the head of state, the incumbent, President Paul Biya, in power. Do you see a better Cameroon after October with your president, with a leader of 92 years old? Because this is another thing that has been making a lot of people make mockery of Cameroon and Cameroonians all over the place, and so on. Do you see a better Cameroon with a 92-year-old leader, your president? Should he win?
He should win by virtue of by virtue of our wishes, it's our wish, and it is our determination to make sure that he wins, because we believe in his philosophy, we believe in his political vision, we believe in his political program, we know his record, and we know that he has a wealth of wisdom and a wealth of experience that nobody else has. And because of these factors,
you must have heard a lot of people qualifying his records, which you mentioned as catastrophic, very negative.
People are free to say
with a good chunk of the population trapped in poverty, misery, hardship, and all what you can mention.
Yeah, those same people making that case ignore the fact that in 43 years, President Biya, as President of the Republic, has transformed Cameroon, has transformed the Republic of Cameroon. There are more liberties. These people should say that. That's a fact. It's not me saying it. It's a fact. It is liberty that makes you and I be here now. Women are freer today than they were. That's a fact. Ask the women. They will tell you this. Our country is considered to be, in spite of what has been going on in the northwest and southwest for the last 9 or so years, or in the extreme north, this is still considered by many as a country where there's peace. And that peace is ensured by the fact that his political policies or his public policies are public policies of peace. Our country has seen its face, infrastructural face, change in the last 43 years. Sure, we have problems, but there is no society without problems. And guess what? What is good about President Biya as President of the Republic and as the candidate of the CPDM party is that President Biya is one Cameroonian, one leader who does not shy away or run away from the fact that he knows that there are problems and there's still work to do. He says it himself. So he's an honest president.
When you look
he's
at,
an honest leader.
when you look at,
and we want somebody who is honest, and he is really the epitome of honesty.
When you look at the,
somebody who wants to be president just for being president.
When you look at the change momentum sweeping across the country, are you confident that your principal, your leader, can make it through?
We are all confident. Maybe we're not overconfident. We are confident. We are confident because we are sure, we believe in, and we know, we trust the person of President Biya. We trust the character, and we know the character of President Biya. We know what his political philosophy and what his political vision is, and we have seen the transformation of the Cameroonian society that he has done, and we see that in spite of the number you are mentioning, which you call age, which the Constitution does not limit, we see determination on his part. This is a president who continues to have the determination, and we see it, to run his country. He is to govern his country, to lead his country, and we see him as you say, a bird in hand. He is a bird in hand, as the English say. He is a bird in hand, and him alone is worth the other 11 birds that are claiming or wanting to be candidates. A bird in hand is President Biya. At the end of the day, we should look forward to a Cameroon of all of us, a Cameroon of togetherness, a Cameroon where all those people whose files were not retained or were not validated will, after October 12, continue to be Cameroonian, continue to work for Cameroon, and continue to participate in Cameroonian public affairs and private affairs. Nobody is considered a bad person. Nobody is considered to be useless. Nobody is considered to be bad simply because your candidacy file was not validated. I hope that those who are supporting or who are supporters of some of these unfortunate postulants or candidates should not make these unfortunate candidates look bad by doing bad things in their name or under the guise that, or under the pretext that they are supporting them.
We're looking forward to a Cameroon for all Cameroonians after October, and not a country whose wealth and well-being, so to speak, have been taken hostage, as some civil society and right defenders have been decried by a group of individuals, a small group of individuals who are accused of having taken hostage the wealth of the land for their selfish interest through corruption, embezzlement, and mismanagement of public funds. Now, we're coming up with interviews of the week. And in interviews of the week, Dr. Barrister Kamwa Limen says Professor Maurice Kamto, despite the fact that his candidacy has been finally rejected and is not going to be running the October 12 presidential race, remains vital, remains an energy, a strong power that should help in the change momentum sweeping across the country. He is now being urged to reunite, to bring together the opposition in a common front to unseat the more than 4-decade-old Biya regime. And also coming up in interviews of the week, Barrister Tamfo Richard and Barrister Charlotte Chakunte decry violation of human rights in the case pitting the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa, REDAC, and the state of Cameroon. Take it.
Maurice Kamto remains very, very essential, very, very important in the electoral process in Cameroon, even if he's not going in as a candidate. Maurice Kamto is an energy, constitutes a very strong political energy in this country. He should spearhead such a coalition in a way that we can have a unique candidate who can go in this presidential election against the incumbent president. You know, on several occasions, I've made it very clear that if they go in dispersed ranks, they are not going to win, for obvious reasons. So I think that he can come now as the head of that coalition to propose to the other political parties to come together, unite together, and then come up with a candidate. If a unique candidate comes from the north, being supported by SDF and all the other political parties, be rest assured that we're going to win. Because the north constitutes a very large electorate. The north stands a better position to rally the south. When the north comes, the whole grand north is coming, which is wanted already. And if northwest and part of southwest, they support the north, you see that they have gone up to almost 2/3. And with 2/3, we will win. As an Anglophone, I am tempted to say that, to believe that, indeed, I want an Anglophone as president because he's going to do the right things. But honestly speaking, it is not something you can realize now.
As we speak, the premises of REDAC are still closed, despite the 3 month suspension that it was sanctioned with, which to me, more than a year, to me, continue to be gross violations of the liberties of REDAC. And we know very well that some documents that may even be requested by the court are still found in the premises of REDAC.
What the government did is terrible. It is terrible. In the state when they say, they are respecting law, normally you can't understand all these things. What they did was bad. It's bad. The penal code says that to go and seal the door of somebody, you have to do this and that. They didn't do it. Even the document that the minister Tanganji sent to the prefect, he didn't give the order to go and seal the door. It means that it's the Mr. Prefect who took engagement to go and do it. And he must respond for it. We are waiting for him to come and tell us.
And that's it for today's edition of The Insight. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you missed the program, you can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also follow the rebroadcast of the program on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Thank you so much for staying with us on Equinoxe Television. God bless Cameroon. Goodbye.